If we look at the clip of the targeted players, you might also notice something different about him. The one directly to his left and all of the other ones to the side have a slight green overlay that appears over the top of them.
Hey guys, welcome to Live in Color.
What's good, Life Fam?
Yo, we finished watching Squid Game Season 1. Now we interested. Now we can watch all the spoilers.
Yeah.
This title right here we got.
Squid Game, every ending clue, that spoiler, things you miss and hidden details. What could we possibly miss?
Okay, so did you know that the players in Squid Game could have actually seen what games they'd be playing before they even played them? Between the matches, the characters were all placed into a room filled with bunk beds, and though this seemed just like a rest area, if you look at the walls, they're actually filled with significant markings. As the beds get slowly...
No, we did notice that. This is nothing new to us.
When I noticed, it was kind of towards the end. Remember when the rooms got empty when the bunk beds was gone?
That's when I noticed too.
I start seeing stuff on the wall. I'm like, wait a minute, is that the same room?
Yeah.
That's when I noticed.
So we didn't miss it. We just noticed it at the very last.
Yeah, we know it's late.
First is red light, green light. There's also the honeycomb game, tug of war, the glass hopping one, the three at the table, and lastly the titular Squid Game. The series itself is filled with clues to the eventual reveals, and this is also the case with the player who's behind the entire thing. Okay, so at the end of Squid Game, we learn that it was IlNam all along.
Look at him.
The final episode reveals that he invented the games as a form of entertainment for him and his rich buddies who had become bored with life. We learn that he had actually got involved in the one that we see in the show because he was dying and wanted a final bit of fun in his life before it was too late. The ending was absolutely incredible, and the scene had Ji-hun saying goodbye to the character as he lay on his deathbed. This last meeting actually reflected their first one, in which he too encountered the character as he sat in a bed. It was a pretty big twist that pulled the rug out from under your feet, but eagle-eyed viewers might have spotted early on that there were several clues pointing towards his true identity. Now the first one is that he is number one, the very first player. If we look at the subtext of the series, Ji-hun is the final number, and throughout we watch as he very much works his way to first place, aka IlNam. In the final episode, he's left as number one, he inherits a large portion of the character's fortune, and comes face to face with him in one of the final scenes. One is symbolic on a number of levels, and because it's the first place, it also hints to us that IlNam is number one, and that he's the one controlling everything. In episode 5, Hwang Jun-ho sneaks through the compound, and he eventually finds a storage room with files on all of the games that have happened over the decades. Upon opening the 2021, the first player there is actually number 2, and IlNam's profile is...
he was number 1! We was trying to figure out why there was a number 1.
But then again, I see a paper on the side. See? It still would have got me flipped.
No, but that makes you know that IlNam has to be number 1. In that, you don't get it.
No, but from what he's saying, he's trying to say if you notice the first paper starts on number 2, but there is another one on the left side. That's why I'm like, I don't care about that theory no more.
See, and he said, and IlNam's profile is completely gone.
I know, but there is another sheet of paper right on the left side.
Maybe just play it. Okay.
I'm just saying that throws me off now.
Oh, okay.
If this was empty, I would have took that theory. You know, I just don't take it. I don't take it serious no more.
Be missing.
On that part.
There is no file for number 1 because he doesn't need or want to keep a record for himself. The other players in the game also somewhat hint towards us that something is off with IlNam, and though it's not too obvious, when you really think about it, he wouldn't be someone that would be selected for the process. Everyone else in the Squid Game is roughly the same age, whereas he's extremely elderly. He's also dying of a brain tumor, and thus even if he did win the life-changing money, it wouldn't last that long. Though he gives his reasons as to why he wants it, from what we know about the games and the players that have been selected in the past, they're all roughly between 20 and 40, and he's a complete outlier in all of this. Now, the games themselves are also major giveaways too. Throughout the series we watched as he said they were all things that he'd played as a child, and in retrospect it becomes blatantly obvious that he selected them himself because they're what he knows. On repeat viewings, it's clear that each of them are something that he not only played as a kid, but they're also things that he's very, very good at. Now,
that's why in that one scene with Gion, he acted stupid. He wanted, remember when he outsmarted him? He pretended like, oh, he forgot, or he had, you know, Alzheimer's. But he knew all along that he was so good at it. Exactly. So it makes sense.
First thing they play is red light, green light. Whilst the other players are absolutely terrified for their lives, he gleefully struts about whilst the Terminator's back is turned, and even stops before it looks back to face the crowd. He knows all of the lyrics to the song that the machine sings, and therefore knows to...
Hey, that's what I was like, yo, why this guy having the time of his life? It makes sense.
But I ain't gonna lie, the director...
He misled us, too.
No, the director did it so good because, one...
That's what I mean. He misled us because he made us believe that this, oh, look at this innocent guy who's just, you know, he's wise and he knows how to move.
Shout out to the director.
He did his job.
Shout out to the director. There you go.
Oh, my God.
That quote was real good. That was good.
Stop and advance before it ends and turns back around. If we look at the clip of the targeted players, you might also notice something different about him. The one directly to his left and all of the other ones to the side have a slight green overlay that appears over the top of them. If we look at the players to his right, outside of the girl crouching down beside him, this is also the case too. Everyone other than him in this girl's tracksuit appears slightly green, and I believe that this machine sees him without the glow because it's been programmed not to shoot him. If this theory is right, then he also has a protective ring around him that stops the machine from firing at people in his vicinity in case it misses, and that's why the girl to his right is also safe too. Immediately after this game, the players decide to cast a vote on whether they should end the tournament.
Oh shit, he said is the machine so strong that...
I heard it, I know.
Anybody that stays around this old
will
man
be safe. Yeah.
Yo, you know how much people could have cheated?
But he created the game, so of course he doesn't want to harm himself. Think about it.
Of course, but it's just crazy that the fact that people clinged on to this old man.
Yes, he's not gonna die. He has it all mapped out.
Tournament or not, he is the one who makes the choice in the end and casts the deciding vote to end the game. This subtly shows his power over the entire thing, and I actually think that he carried this out for a specific reason. He wanted to give the players a chance to walk away from it all knowing the stakes, and if they came back then that would ease his conscience slightly as the choice was theirs.
It's true.
Now cut to the honeycomb game, and IlNam ends up choosing the star. Though this seems like a very complex shape, there's not actually any bends in it like the circles or umbrellas. Though you might think it's easier to have the triangle's lines are longer, whereas the stars are shorter, so there's less to cut through before you hit an edge. Being completely honest though, yeah, the triangle is a pretty easy shape too, but IlNam didn't exactly have one of the difficult ones either. Now next we jump to episode 4, in which a fight breaks out during the night. Throughout, IlNam hides away from the carnage up on one of the bleachers, and he ends up begging for the fighting to stop.
So that makes sense. We were trying to figure out how did he move so quick?
He was all up in the
He was up in the bleachers. Oh, those are clues. I felt like something was up with him.
Yeah,
I just couldn't put my hands on it. The director really had us going in a loop.
I ain't gonna lie, man.
My god!
Shout out to the director again, man.
And he's acting like he's so innocent, like, oh please.
And he cried.
So was he telling them, okay, stop it now?
I think probably was.
Because remember, he's the creator of the game.
Yep.
Oh my, how you in the game and then telling, oh my god, this is too much.
He stopped the game and then they stopped that.
They really, because he controls the game.
Yeah, he's really the guy.
Even though up until this point it seemed like the front man was completely in control, he immediately sends the guards in because IlNam requests it. Another clue is that his bed is the only one that isn't flipped, and this is because the guards likely know who he is. Next they play a game of tug of war, and because of their players it seems like IlNam's team are about to be sent to their deaths. However,
that's why they won, because he was part of that team, the old guy. So, oh my gosh, so if the old guy was in your team, you're going to survive because he created the game. That makes sense. Oh my gosh.
Get it.
So did the guy really have a plan to save them?
Let's watch some more. Let's see. Come on, let's see.
Oh my god.
And because of their players, it seems like IlNam's team are about to be sent to their deaths. However, he is the one who tells them how to win, and because of his guidance, they easily beat the much stronger team. IlNam had clearly played the game hundreds of times before and knew the best strategy to take. Any team with him was destined to win, and the fact his strategy works definitely proves this.
That makes so much
sense. The final
sense.
game in which he takes part is the marbles one, and this also has a lot of clues in it. Throughout it, it seems like the character is struck by dementia, and he constantly walks around looking for his house. This game not only pulls from his childhood, but the area does too, unless the Squid Game organisers were psychic, then they'd have no way of knowing what his home looked like. Throughout the episode, everything he says is brushed away as the ramblings of someone with the disease. But
that was a perfect little thing. The fact that why everything designed like your home. You really believe like your home. How would they know your home?
Exactly.
I don't know. That was crazy.
Yeah.
That's a lot of
but knowing what we know, it becomes all the more obvious that he's in control. In the end, he seems to find his home, and personally, I believe that this is a perfect recreation of it. He's giving the game away because throughout the entire season he's letting us know that all of the challenges and environments are based on things from his life. He lets Ji-hun win, and the character is then seemingly killed off camera, but we know that isn't the case. If we look closely at the gate that Ji-hun...
And we said after he let him win the marble game, we couldn't see what happened to the old man.
Yep.
So we felt like, yo, what if one of them was alive?
Yep. Hold on. I think they might see a detail after this.
That is so interesting.
After the camera. Hold on. This one I'm kind of curious about this part. This scene.
That's what I just mentioned.
I know you mentioned about there's something that they're seeing as a detail.
Okay, go ahead.
They killed off camera, but we know that isn't the case. If we look closely at the gate that Ji-hun has just walked out of, we can see that he's no longer there, and though the rest of the court is filled with bodies, his is completely missing. Now, knowing what we know, a question you may have is why did IlNam end up leaving the game at this point when he was still invested in playing? Well, the next game is the deadly hopscotch one, and this is by far the most unpredictable of...
Answer the question, why did IlNam... Because we even talked about that. Why didn't he play this game? You mentioned that.
You know this one, right? You
he didn't know this one? This was not one of his child games. So this game right here was just... they created it.
Yep.
Because remember, most of the games are child games. Why was this one so different?
This one...
That's interesting what he said.
That shit can break for real. And he's like, you're not putting my life in no danger.
No, but that's so... Oh, man. Because we should have thought about that. Like, why didn't the old man... We said it!
Because even if you was good at hopscotch, whatever, just because it was a flip coin type of decision, it wasn't based on your calculations or stuff like that. It was just...
This one was riskier.
Luck.
This one was a lot riskier.
This is luck.
Because this is not even a child game. This is just something they just put together for them to play.
This is the most dangerous one, right?
Of the lot. If he didn't end up getting put in last place, then there would be a danger that the person behind him could push him to his death, like what we see in the episode. There's also the possibility that due to his brain tumor, he may have forgotten along the way which glass to step on, and he simply couldn't risk it. Now that is of course a theory, but overall, going back and knowing what we know, I actually think the series becomes better on a...
And this scene right here, when the flashback, when he put that thing down, because remember, we've been seeing this head in the scene just sitting down on the table. So he never wear the black mask ever. I think when he probably was usually chill with the VIPs with this mask on. Because I noticed that he put this little head on, which resembles when everybody had different...
Wait, who put this head on?
This is the old man putting it down on the flashback from here.
Theory, but overall, going back and knowing what we know, I actually think the series becomes better on a second watch. Now, obviously...
Also, he's one of the VIPs, that's what you're saying.
Yeah, he used to chill with, which is, remember, he said his friend. So I think that's the mask that he been carrying and wearing when he usually chill with the VIP.
Yeah, of course. So they all wear that mask.
Yeah, so I guess he never does wear that black mask with the front man.
I think he gave Buddy that role because Buddy won. I think he gave him a card, told him, hey, you know what? We have this, he's promoted, you get promoted if you come back. And I think that's what happened, why he's wearing that black mask.
That's right.
Because remember, he was one of the players too, and he won.
That's right.
The guy in the black mask.
That's right.
Yeah, so that makes sense.
I'd love to hear if you spotted any other ones below. And if this is your first time here, then I hope you enjoy your trip to the Heavy Spoilers show. We are running a competition right now and giving away 3 copies of the Zack Snyder DC trilogy, and all you have to do to be on the chance of winning is like the video, make sure you subscribe with notifications on.
That was interesting.
I don't know. I still have a theory that the old man is still not dead. I don't know why. I might think he might pop up.
I don't think he's dead too. I think this is what our theory is. Yeah. What's your theory on the old man?
That's what I'm saying. I don't think he's dead.
This is what I think happened at the end. I think the old man, remember, we have to remember the old man. He's so wise. He's 10 steps ahead of everybody.
Right.
He created this game. So he's a mastermind. Right. So I think he faked his death to make that guy believe that he's gone, like he doesn't exist anymore. So he can come back in the other game. So, you know what I'm saying? So I think when that guy goes back in the game again, he's going to see the old man again. This is what I think is going to happen. He's going to see IlNam, and then he's going to be like, I thought you were dead. Yeah. And he's going to be like, oh, we're going to play a game? Yeah. I think that's what's going to happen.
I swear. I don't know. We're just spectating.
I'm just spectating.
But that
old man is crazy. IlNam is crazy.
I don't know. Let me know what y'all think.
It's crazy.
Lobby Color fan, we is out.